Welcome back to the Seeking Success podcast, the number one podcast in the world, powered by StockPick. Today we have a very special guest, Rafi. Rafi is the number one credit coach in Canada. He's an official member of the Forbes Council, and he's a founder, ex-banker, and investor. You must have seen this guy on TikTok, but if you haven't already, make sure you follow him. We're going to put all his helpful links in the description below. Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it. No worries, brother.
Jumping right into things, man. How'd you get involved in the credit space, bro? So we see you have a history of banking, but what really got you to the place you are now?
Yeah, bro. So basically, I worked at Scotia as a teller. Then I worked at TD. Then I worked at RBC. Then I worked at CIBC. Like I pretty much climbed the ranks, but I did something like different where I didn't like just climb up in one bank. I just kind of kept hopping.
Okay.
And then I got into mortgage broker, financial planner, investor. So I kind of got experience from all of those kind of fields.
Okay.
And I just combined it all into like one thing. And I figured I could kind of teach this because no one's doing this one thing of like,
Yes.
credit hacking.
Yes.
So it sets myself apart from other people. And one thing led to another. And here we are.
No, it's cool that you said that too, like credit hacking, right? And I guess like that's what everyone wants to know. Like, why is my credit score? Why is it shit? Like, why is it in the 600?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, Rafi, what is the best way to get like a perfect credit score? How do you do that?
Pay your shit on time.
Pay your shit on time. But is it really that easy though?
So here's the thing. I think if you have a good credit score, like if you just have your own credit, you make your payments on time, you're gonna have a 700 credit score.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like overall, if you just kind of do what you're supposed to do and kind of pay your stuff on time,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a good score. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
People kind of complicate this stuff. If you have a low credit score or your credit score is like, I don't know, 650 or 600, that basically means you probably missed payments or like you're maxing out your credit cards and stuff. That's mainly the reason why your score might be low.
Okay.
Okay. So we know it goes up to 900. So how do you get 900, bro?
You don't need no one has 900.
What's like? Okay. So what's like? How do people get like 850 then?
So you basically you start at like 800. Like if you have, let's say you're 18 years old, you just got a credit card, you're probably gonna have like an 850 credit score.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that actually. What the heck?
But bro, listen, like it's not really an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like hey, my credit score is 850 and I'm broke. Like it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So I think the goal, I think a big misconception that I see is people are obsessed with like, oh my gosh, my score is 799. It used to be 801, and they just lose their shit. When in reality, that doesn't really matter that much. Like it's more so about how you're gonna get a bunch of approvals, a bunch of credit cards, a bunch of lines of credits. I'm not gonna use that to buy a bunch of property, make passive income, travel the world, et cetera, et cetera. That's really what matters, not so much like, oh my God, 80, 802. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying it's more so about like the credit availability that you have as opposed to your credit score.
Yeah, it's more so about your like your credit profile. Overall, like what I just to simplify this stuff because it gets complicated, right? Like Equifax, TransUnion, like why are there two scores and shit?
Yeah.
Overall, if your credit score, bro, is 700 Equifax or higher, good job. Like you can do a bunch of stuff. You can buy property. You can go flip. You can passive income, private lending. If it's below that, just simply make your payments on time. Throw your debit card in the trash. Don't ever use that. Just keep going with your history. Eventually, your score will creep back up, basically.
Right on. Okay, so we're talking about scores. Let's talk about something like one of the craziest things you've seen, whether it's your own credit limits or someone else's credit limits. What's some crazy numbers you've seen, bro?
40,000 BMO.
So you have a $40,000 piece of plastic.
I have an unlimited piece of plastic too, a charge card, American Express.
Yes, that's a black one, right?
Bro, I'm working on that one. That one, you have to get an invitation to even apply.
Okay.
So I have the most advanced. Like I guess this is pretty much the most flashiest card I have right now.
The platinum.
The platinum, yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah.
So this platinum.
Okay, Rafi. So since you have the credit card up, we may as well ask this now. What's some crazy perks you have? Obviously, we're talking about credit cards. If you didn't know by now, guys, credit cards usually have some pretty wild perks, whether it's cashback, points, vacation, and that sort of things. What's some crazy perks you have on some of your best cards, or even your clients' cards? Just something that's like really out there.
Okay, so this card basically you get like a I don't want to say I don't want to say personal assistant, but like you get a person to kind of dedicate to your like account,
Yes.
and then you can basically call them up and be like, hey, find me the cheapest hotels, find me the cheapest flights, and they give you
Yes.
like an itinerary, and they basically do all the work and like organize that for you.
Oh, what the heck? I didn't know that.
Crazy.
So that's probably the biggest.
Time.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's pretty boss, man.
What?
Rafi, actually, I got another question for you real quick, bro. One time I was at a
Yeah.
real estate seminar, and the guy told me when you have a certain point of cash in your bank account, the bank will assign you a personal assistant where like that personal assistant will come deliver you cash. You could do your personal banking through that one person. Is this true? And then what's the threshold to get to that personal banker?
I think you're referring to private banking.
Okay.
So private banking, you have to have at least $500,000 in
Okay.
investable assets.
Okay.
And
And
so that's when you get a dedicated banker to kind of take care of your stuff and all that sort of thing.
Wait, so what? Like James Bond is gonna come with like a briefcase of money, or like what? Like what's happening
Yeah,
here?
but bro, let's be honest. Who the hell wants like a bunch of like? What did you say? Someone brings you your cash. Like who the hell like
yeah,
wants to?
Are you
Unless you're like
Andrew Tate just dropping off a
right?
duffel bag of money or some shit? Like,
Yeah, that's a joke.
okay,
But yeah,
that's
that's private banking.
okay. That's funny. So, we talked a
Yeah.
bit about like what like the crazy perks that you get and stuff like that. And so, I guess back to like the credit score, right? So, to get a good credit score, you need to obviously pay your shit on time, and there's other variables that we talked about. What really matters in your credit score? Like, what do the credit unions actually look at?
So credit unions
Sorry, not the
is
credit unions, the credit bureaus. My bad.
credit bureaus, credit bureaus. So the main thing that I would focus on, the number one thing is your payment history.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, everything else can be altered. Everything else can be kind of fixed. So let's say some guy owes like 50 grand in credit card debt and he's absolutely maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually he's going to pay that off, or let's say he gets someone to pay off his credit cards temporarily to boost his score, you know, because he's about to buy a property. People do a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
You can always kind of fix and remedy a lot of things. However, if you've missed payments in the past, you know, over and over and over again, that's extremely difficult to, probably the most difficult to remove.
Yeah.
Mm,
You can like write up these letters and stuff to Equifax and TransUnion, be like, hey, I missed my payment because I changed my address and I swear you didn't send me or whatever, and then you just kind of go back and forth, and that's extremely difficult. That's like the most difficult I've seen.
Mm.
okay.
So like the most important thing, like please, just at least make your minimum payment. Obviously try to pay the most or the maximum so you don't pay 19% interest. All that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling me people actually send letters and be like, basically like, hey, sorry, I messed up, like, fix this, like, and that shit, like, people actually do that?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it doesn't work, or does it actually work?
It sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It works really good with inquiries.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So it'd be like, yeah, bro, you know, TD pulled my credit. I didn't authorize this. What is this? This is a hard check.
Oh.
And they have like 40 days to reply by like an official form of communication. And if they don't, then the Equifax TransUnion, they have to remove it from your credit bureau. So people do all that stuff too.
Shit. Okay. So hold on. So for those that don't know, like Rafi, you and I, we've talked so much about this stuff. Like you've shared so many hidden gems, and I want to make sure we touch on like a lot of these because there's just so much stuff. Like I remember when I first started talking to you, like you told me like the basic stuff, and this is I think when I was like 19, and I was like, what? Like this is insane. So for people that don't already know, the banks and the CRA and just no one talks to each other, right? So since no one talks to each other, you can technically go and apply for a bunch of different things from a bunch of different places, and you're not gonna like kill your credit score by doing that many inquiries because you're doing them all at the same time, right? So what else can you do knowing that no one really talks to each other?
So I like there's a lot that we talk about, but for like just in generally speaking, what I would say is have bank accounts at every single bank.
Yes.
have a savings account. Basically, if you have a good score, they'll start throwing like credit cards at you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-approved, pre-approved. Congratulations, you know. And you should always take them. Some people are like, oh my gosh, credit is bad, you know, like I don't want to get into debt. It's like, bro, this is the exact wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it, be responsible, or don't use that shit, whatever. The more credit cards you have, the better like your score is gonna be.
Okay.
Because if you have a bunch of credit available and you're not using it, let's say you have $300,000 worth of credit cards and you don't even touch them. It looks really, really good. Like your, it's called your utilization.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's extremely low, so your score will be at 800, 850, like forever. You know?
Mm.
No, that's good, and I want to quickly share this because like I did make a piece of content on this saying like, yeah, when you open a free bank account at all the places, you basically get given free money. I've had this happen to me, and literally this like the timing on this is insane. Literally yesterday, someone who follows me literally messaged me and said, hey, took your advice on YouTube Shorts and made an account for CIBC, and they told me I could get a line of credit already and a credit card, like literally just like that without having to apply for anything. So that's insane, and I don't think people understand because let's be real, right? Like who uses, I'm sure people do actually use it, but like, bro, I hate using multiple bank accounts. I just like have everything on one app. Boom, I go in, pay my bills, look how much money I'm making. My investments are all in there. Boom, done, right? But no one really thinks, oh, maybe I should go and open multiple accounts at different places. Cause like one, it's, let's be real, it's a hassle. Like fucking, you gotta go drive to all these places sometimes, fucking sign a stupid piece of paper. They have to like see your face, all this shit, right? But like, it's just not easy to do that. And people don't do it. And it's insane how that little, like, I guess trick or whatever you want to call it can give you what, like thousands, tens of thousands of funding literally for free.
Bro, it's actually crazy, man. Me personally, okay, I fell in this hack by mistake. So when I was younger, I think RBC had some promotion where like, I think you get like $300 if you open some account. And there was like so many loopholes, but like we went there and like, then they're like, you gotta have this and that. I mean, you could probably go into that if you want to, but more or less, like I didn't end up getting the $350, but my account was made there. And then like, as I grew older, when my friend signed up with Tangerine and he had a referral code, he's like, yo, use my referral code, we'll get $50. I'm like, all right, bet, sign up there. And then that happened like PC Financial, and then like I was literally just signing up for like their welcome bonuses. And then once I started working, like after college, I started working. It's like everyone was like, I didn't even apply for the credit card. Like they send me a mail or like an email, go like, hey, you're pre-approved for this. And then it was perfect timing. I went to a real estate seminar, and the guy was basically saying the same thing. He's like, yo, fucking accept everything. He's like, make saving accounts everywhere, put money in all the accounts, and just watch them come in. And it's crazy, like how like it's just so fast, and like it's just such an underrated thing that nobody really talks about until now. Because now, obviously, Rafi, you've been talking about this for some time now. Radies has been talking about it on his page. But like, it's such an interesting thing that like it's like so dumb easy. And then you have people who are like still getting Capital One credit cards where they had to put a security deposit on it, which is like
Yeah,
mind blowing.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to build my credit. I don't have a credit yet. It's like, no, idiot. Like they don't care.
Yeah. Capital One, man. It's like if you have only a Capital One credit card, you know that you're kind of screwing up in life. Like honestly, like it's like the biggest sign. Anyone's like, yo, I got a Capital One credit card, $1,000 only, and that's it. I'm like, oh my god, we got problems.
Oh my god. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, those are the ones where like the $1,000. It's technically not even a credit card. It's more or less a debit card, right? You have to put the money down or something.
No, it's a secured credit card with Capital One. $300, $500. You know, like that means like you're probably like there's a lot of problems like from there. But bro, like to Radies' point, like if you just start, like you're 18, 19, you know, you just got one or two credit cards, you didn't screw up yet. Amazing. Like you can like paint a nice canvas of a lot of approvals, a lot of funding, a lot of purchases, 0% down real estate, flipping properties, you know, like crazy stuff you can do just as long as you kind of pay your stuff on time.
Yes.
Okay, wait, I have a quick question before we move on. So, Rafi, tell me this. How hard is it? Because, like, I'm pretty young. I'm only 22. I don't have that much history. I remember when I first met you two, I only had, I think, one credit card. And you were like, Rudy's like, what the fuck is this?
That's exactly what I said, yeah.
And so, like, how hard is it to get approved for, like, auto loans? Because, like, I've talked to some people, and, like, I myself, when I applied, so I financed my Tesla. Obviously, you're not going to pay for it in cash because it's way better. Yeah, we don't need to get into that. But anyways, yeah, like how hard is it to get approved for like an auto loan? Because I had my shit approved pretty like easily, and I've had people older than me with like full-time jobs not get approved for cars cheaper than my car. So is it because it's a Tesla? Is it because like of my credit? Like, what do you think it was? Like, how does that go?
Okay, so car loans and car financing are based mainly on the year of the car
Okay.
and your credit score.
Mm.
Okay. What do you think has more weight? Is it the year of the car or the credit score?
I would say the credit score.
Okay.
Not so much your like basically if you're getting a brand new Tesla, let's say,
Hmm.
and you have a good credit score, then income they ask, but not too much. Like they just kind of they don't verify pay stubs and like notice of assessment and stuff like that.
Can
Lines of credit.
confirm.
Sorry.
I said can confirm.
Yeah. Confirm. Car financing is completely different. It's more so because it's like because if you don't make your payments, they can repossess the car. They have
Yeah.
collateral, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's underwritten differently.
Well, also, Mo, isn't it also a thing where like if you do put a sizable down payment on it, it doesn't really matter about your credit score because like if the down payment plus the actual value of the car after it's being pre-owned, like would they even care at that point? Because I know like because like sometimes when people like put like a big chunk of money on a car and then they'll just repossess it, right? If you miss your payments, is that a thing or?
Yeah, I think it helps. It helps if if your score isn't good enough. They ask for like they would only like I guess finance like 80% of the car or
Yes.
90% of the car. I guess it depends.
Okay.
But generally, if it's a brand like I guess just to be simple, it's a brand new car like 2023, let's say,
Yeah.
and you got a good credit score, fantastic score, you're pretty much gonna get the car.
Mm.
Okay.
You know.
Since we're talking about cars, man, what's the next best thing? Cars, women, travel. So, what's the best travel tips with credit?
So, bro, I would say this is like, I guess, unconventional advice on this. I feel like most people wouldn't expect me to say this. So, travel points and hacks and cashback. Um, if you're not making decent coin, it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
How much is
100% agree.
decent?
Like I'm saying, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, like decent amount of actual revenue.
Yep.
You're a business owner, you have ad expense, you have an assistant, you have payroll, you have actual genuine expenses
Yep.
that you're like putting on the friggin' card.
Yep.
Now you're accumulating a shit ton of points. Now you never have to pay for a flight again,
Mm.
right? And it's like, hey, let me research this and that, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're just making 50 grand a month, 50 grand a year, like a regular job, and
Yeah.
like yes, you'll get some points, some cash back, sure, but don't obsess over it. Like try to focus on what matters, like make more money.
Yes,
Mm.
100% agree. Yo,
You
it's
know?
crazy. Cause yo, Mo, with one of my actual personal credit cards, so like I think it was my Amex Silver. When I went for my honeymoon and around my wedding time, bro, I put everything on the card from like the wedding ring to like fucking everything. No exaggeration,
Nice.
bro. I probably spent 90 grand, 95 grand in a span of 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think we gotta
And
leave
that,
that in, man.
no, I would censor that out. But more or less, like, bro, I remember the points was like maybe worth like 2 grand, and I spent almost. I'm not gonna say it, but I spent like almost $95,000 to like. It makes no sense. I mean, sure, it's a value like everyday purchases, but like. I know what you mean. I've heard Dave Ramsey say it a lot too. He's like, like it's better if you're irresponsible, it's almost better for you to use your debit card than you thinking you're gonna get points and build your credit just because you're gonna create a mess, right?
Yeah, I would say like Dave Ramsey has no idea what the hell he's talking about, man. Every single thing he says is complete garbage. I have no idea how it makes any sense. All of his followers, all of his content are for people who are just going to be employees, working their entire lives. How many of them are financially free? How many of them don't have discipline? You know what I'm saying? Like, you should never, ever, ever, ever use a debit card. It's the dumbest thing you can do. All money in our entire monetary system is freaking debt.
Yes.
Like, just stop for a moment, okay? Like, all money is debt. It's all fake. So if you're sitting there being like credit is bad, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yes. No, that
You
would
know
be
what I'm
weird.
saying?
But Mo, what if someone's literally like a freaking fucking idiot, right? Like every time they got a card, they fucking max it out. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. When I was young, that's the first thing I did. I got a credit card. I treated it like it was a gift card, and I made a mess. Then my mom bailed me out. Then I did it again, and then I got to the point like, oh, time out. I'm like, maybe I'm the problem, right? Until I was able to realize I was a problem, it was a fucking mess, right? For someone like that, do you think they should still only use credit cards?
I think if you're gonna take some action and, try to improve your situation,
Yeah.
maybe, grow your intelligence so that you are responsible. I would say that's the best case scenario. But if you're not able to do that, then sure, then you're not capable and you should stick to a debit card.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And Mo, just to understand what we're saying is the reason why this is the most perspective is this is a seeking success podcast, right? We're assuming our listeners are coming here to learn how to be a better part of life. This is not really the podcast made for someone who wants to, make it to the next level in the 9 to 5 job. It's more like someone who wants to make it in like the entrepreneurial space. Someone who wants to make it in a business space. So that's what the core audience is. So if it's coming across as offensive to you, maybe it's time to make some reevaluations. But I just want to make that perfectly clear because I 100% understand. But I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, right? I want to hear both sides. I want to see how you respond to it. So
No, I hear you, man. So Omar, just to I guess echo on your comment there. Like,
yeah,
if someone is irresponsible and they keep they're saying, bro, I should not use a credit card. I'm just gonna max it out. Let me just stick to a debit card.
yeah.
Like, you're accepting that you are not responsible with money.
Yes.
Like, that's a huge issue. So for the rest of your life, you're not going to be responsible. You're not going to handle yourself, your family. You're not going to be a provider. Really?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And just to add to that too as well. Like, I want to go back to my early stage in life when I was young. I'm still in high school, just entering college kind of time. And that's around the time when I kept maxing out my card. And I remember I got to realization where like, oh shit, okay, so I am the problem. So what I did was, I think it was Grant Cardone, but someone basically said, fucking check your bank account every single morning. So I check it, made me feel depressed. And then I think it was also Graham Stephan where like I had a spreadsheet where like I'd calculate every dollar coming in versus dollar coming out. And I'd highlight it either red, yellow, or green. Yellow would be balanced, red would be in the negative, and green would be in positive. And just by simply gamifying everything, it became a point where like, holy smokes, like fucking 3 months in the red, like what am I doing wrong? To a point where I remember I was even doing side hustles and stuff to make up surpluses. And then finally, it's crazy, I saw the chart somewhere. It was like red, finally yellow, then a red. Then it was like, when it got to the green, it stayed in the green is what I'm trying to say. So if you do feel like, okay, maybe this is your wake-up call that you're being a fucking idiot, maybe it's time to start tracking all your expenses. And instead of like what Rafi's saying, don't just accept the reality that you're a fucking idiot. Do something about it. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, it's a sign that you want to make some changes. But again, nothing in life is easy. Everything worth it you got to put a decent amount of effort and time into it. So,
And the other thing is as well, like just consuming the content. That's just step one, right? Like people sometimes they go watch a video and they're like, yeah, like I'm fucking doing something. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like anyone can do this. You just gotta stay here and pay attention. Maybe now it's hard because everyone has like ADHD and they need to be like stimulated like 80,000 times per second, but you got to go and actually put in the work, right? Like we already gave out so many actionable steps today. And this is so funny. I want to share this with you, Rafi. So my barber, I've been telling him for the longest time. I'm like, because he's like entrepreneurial, he's into crypto, whatnot, right? I feel like most barbers are. So I told him like, here's like some credit tips, like we just talk, right? And he like picks my brain, I pick his brain, whatever. I told him like, go do this. I've been telling him for months. He hasn't done it yet. And then like every like maybe like third or fourth time I'd go there, I tell him the same thing, and he wouldn't do it. And I told him, I'm like, okay, you're quite clearly being a bitch. Let's actually do this properly. So if you don't actually sign up for these credit cards, bank accounts, by the next time I see you, I get a free haircut. And he said, okay, sure. Luckily for me, it was around Christmas holiday time. Bro, no one's gonna remember during the holidays, right? So he didn't remember. I hit him up. I'm like, when can I get a haircut? I'm like, did you apply for the cards? He said, no. And I'm like, okay, free haircut. He's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck, you get a free haircut. Then after I told him that and he got the free haircut, he actually applied, and just like everyone else, he got a bunch of free shit. Especially with Neo, I think you got some free shit as well. So it's just like, take the action and actually put in the steps. And another thing we want to talk about as well is, because we already talked about the Tesla, we talked about the credit. I think the most viral piece of content you ever had is getting the free Tesla. So tell us, how do you get free Teslas?
Oh man, that's like that one video like absolutely exploded on Instagram. I was like absolutely shocked, man. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's at I think like 800K views or something like that now.
It was, and bro, Instagram, not even TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram.
So like that was insane. So I should have added some footnotes because like the Tesla that I got 2020, it was like 50,000. Now that same Tesla is worth 70,000.
Yes.
Okay, interest rates were also lower back then.
Yes.
Just to clarify, just to cover my tracks here. Interest rates have also gone up.
Yes.
But like basically, it was the car payment was $640 per month.
Yep.
And it was no money down.
Yep.
Okay. And so the car financing with RBC, but I had other lines of credits that I was using for private lending
Yes.
where it was generous. So let's say I was lending 100,000 at 15%,
Yes.
and my interest rate that I was paying for the lines of credits was 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So I was making 10%, like $10,000 off just lines of credit money.
Yes.
Yes.
So 10 grand divided by 12, what was the number? Like something like $800.
Yes.
So I was making $800 a month just off of line of credit income, like just passive income, $800. So once I knew that was like going to happen, that is now established, right? $800 is coming in. Now I go to the dealership, the Tesla, and I just get the financing done. And now I have the car, and now I have my car payment of $640 per month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so after 8 years, the car is paid off, and the payments are being made by the passive income.
That's gold. That's gold
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
So
No,
with
that's
today's current, because like even so when I got my car, literally I think now the same car, it's $10,000 more, and I got mine in 2021. I think they increased all the prices by $10,000. I think last year, and I don't know if you saw, but they also decreased the prices again, like literally last night. So we're filming this on the 13th. So they decreased the prices of Teslas. Is this still possible to do with current interest rates and current Tesla prices, or is this something that was like a hey, if you missed a boat, you missed a boat?
I think the concept still works. Like, just do your best to get a bunch of lines of credits. Use those line of credits to create a passive income of, let's say, 700, $800 a month.
Yeah.
hmm
If you're making $800 a month, you can get, it doesn't have to be a Tesla. It could be like a Benz or a BMW or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
The car payment would be just, you just gotta make sure it's less than 800 per month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keeping in mind taxes. That's another thing that a lot of people are commenting. Oh, he didn't mention taxes. It is taxable income, but usually the interest that you are paying is deductible
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you're using debt to create money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another part of this, but yeah, it gets kind of technical when you get into it.
Saw in 2020, 2021, a lot of people are buying real estate, and we see a lot of those people now. We're not going to say any names, but I'm sure, Rafi, I'm sure you've seen the lawsuits. I'm sure you've seen the people in our, not community, but our, social circles. A lot of people got screwed over. What do you think about that, man? Like, it's insane. Because we're seeing not just like, normal people get screwed over. We're seeing, like, the gurus who are supposed to be, whatever. Like, we're seeing a lot of crazy shit. Like, what do you think about that?
I think it's really sad to see, man. I think a lot of people get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, real estate only goes up, and there's all these realtors talking,
They've done real
all these
estate with
realtors
crypto,
talking.
man.
That's it, man. And like they're just kind of talking out of their ass. It's really sad to see. It just sucks. It sucks because they're taking money from other people, like their family and friends, their life savings into the down payment,
Yeah.
and now the house is not even appraising. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna lose everything, and now you're absolutely screwed. Like it's devastating, but like what can you do?
Yeah, literally, what can you do? That's interesting. Okay, so Rafi, we talked a bit about. We don't need to go too in depth because I don't think we want to get canceled here. But where do you see the banking system in the next 5 years?
Oh man, I think things are going to change drastically. I think what's happening right now with just globally from a like a recession standpoint, like if you look at the macro level, what's happening on like with all the central banks, so Bank of Canada, the Federal Reserve, Bank of Australia, Bank of UK, all of these guys, they're for the first time in history, they're losing money.
Mm,
It's absolutely bonkers what's happening with the money printing and all that, like COVID and stuff. So I think there's going to be a drastic change. I think there's going to be like a new digital currency that gets implemented. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to take away a lot of freedoms of people. I think it's going to be very restrictive. It's going to give a lot more power to governments. I don't know how far we want to go into this
well, okay.
topic.
So is this? I guess we'll keep poking at the bear until it bites back. I guess. So what do you? Okay. So is this like a one world? Because like I don't know how much Umar has gone in this rabbit hole, but I've dabbled. Right? Is this like a one world currency that you think is going to happen, or is this like for each country? What do you think?
So I'm not certain about like one world having like a currency, but for sure they're going to implement like you know how Bitcoin is decentralized.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the exact opposite of that is centralized.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the government will implement a central bank digital currency. It's going to be centralized. They'll be able to basically program your money. They'll be like, here's like, okay, $5,000, but you can only spend it on Walmart. You can't spend it on like that local grocery store because they didn't get vaccinated or some shit.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And there's going to be an expiry of like, hey, you got to spend the money in 3 months. Otherwise, it's going to be worthless. So they're gonna basically control these variables, and so that's gonna be like a huge kind of it's gonna change things drastically. I mean, technology, CBDCs, AI, artificial intelligence, all of this stuff. It's all gonna be linked and Neuralink. It's crazy. There's a lot of shit that's gonna change the world.
No,
Okay,
I
Rafi,
yeah.
let's
a lot,
let's
it's a
okay.
lot.
So now we're going. Sorry, did someone say hold on?
Huh?
No.
Okay, sorry. Let's go down this conspiracy theory real quick because this is fucking super interesting. So let's talk about this conspiracy real quick, okay? During like let's just say call it 2020. You guys know what the fuck was happening then, and they're paying us money every single month, or not us, but whoever was qualified, they're paying you a
Everyone
month,
with a
right?
pulse. Everyone with a pulse.
So
Pretty much.
more or less, what I realize is if they're like at first I'm thinking about I'm like how are they gonna recover this? But like this is a monopoly system, right? Where like they're giving you money, but the money's literally circulating back in the same hands at the end of the day. So like this kind of goes back to like what Tate is saying and like people believing in like this one world, what is it, New World Order and stuff.
The Matrix.
Call it whatever you want, but like more or less it's like make money, you spend the money on them, and it's just a constant circle, right? And then this is where things get weird. Like, do you think that's an actual possibility? Where like because you're so into like the banking space and you're seeing people come in and come out. Like, do you think we get to a point? Because like, bro, when I saw Saudi doing like the one wall thing. And like all around the world, they're creating these little micro societies where it's like, hold on, time out. Are we gonna get to the point where like we live in this cog and wheel system where like everyone's just a cog, and because of that, like the whole concept of like I guess I don't know what you want to call it, but like economics, how we see it today, just dissolved. Is that a possibility we see?
I think it's absolutely a possibility. I think it's absolutely crazy because if you look at the trends, if you look at all of the stuff that's happening, the whole like young people that are working their asses off all day, every day, they're still left with nothing. Like 100 grand a year, bro, is nothing now.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
For real. God.
100 grand a year is shit change now. So you go to school, you spend the bulk of your life just kind of working, and you can't even support a family. You don't really have too much assets. You don't really have power. You don't really have freedom. You don't really have autonomy. And so you're dependent on the system. So as time is progressing, you're more and more dependent, more and more dependent. So more and more served, more and more universal basic income. So I think to comment what you're saying, Omar, I do think it's possible. I do think we're seeing a trend where the person, the individual, doesn't have freedom to make their own decisions because they have nothing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
The Great Reset, man. So, okay, wait, Rafi, if I'm not mistaken, the Davos meeting, that's the World Economic Forum thing, right?
Yeah.
Yo, so Umar, so take this in, right? So obviously, so there's in Switzerland, I believe it's every year they have a Davos meeting where it's like basically all the World Economic Forum, like a bunch of the elites or whatever come together, right? And so it's so insane because this went viral, I believe, like last night. So for this meeting, they have 5,000 armed soldier security at this meeting in Switzerland. And Switzerland is supposed to be a neutral country. Beautiful country, by the way. It's supposed to be neutral. And so basically everyone was saying, this is the one time where Putin could have an ethical nuclear strike. And the conversations that happened on Twitter were just insane. And it's just like basically saying, if you go and nuke the Davos meeting, you're getting rid of all the Great Reset stuff, all these like theories and whatever. And like, bro, like it's kind of interesting, right? Because like if you are technically supposed to be doing good for the world, why do you need 5,000 security members? Like in Dubai, the royal family, they literally just go out, they walk in the public, they greet people. They don't have like security per se, as opposed to if you see like a Davos meeting, there's 5,000 armed soldiers. So it just makes you think like, whose side are people really on? You know, like it's just, again, like without getting too crazy into this, like it's interesting. It's just something to keep a lookout for. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting times.
Right. Okay. Bro, just to circle back on this concept, if we are really living in a world where they're controlling all of our money, and now I'm hearing laws where they're trying to ban gasoline cars, and now everybody with the remote control car, like I think it's like after 11, nobody's allowed to leave the house, and we'll make sure of it.
That's
'Cause we
it.
got this
That's it,
glitch.
man. It's
That's it.
ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
God, that's really what we're gonna see, eh?
Yeah, Umar,
They're
you're
gonna be
gonna be
like,
driving
bro.
electric.
No. They're gonna be like, listen, you didn't get your 19th booster. You can't go outside today.
My God,
That's,
horrible. You know
Like,
what,
can you
man?
imagine?
Let's fucking jump into something more fun, bro. God. Okay, so Rafi, before we close this off, we have some rapid fire thing, but before that, a new concept we're starting is like the shorts round. And what we mean by the shorts round is we'll ask you a series
oh,
of
this is you.
questions.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and we'll give you we'll have a series of questions and you'll just answer them like within a minute. And the whole idea behind this is like what Radies was telling you earlier in the podcast is this is so we could get out short form content, okay? So and Radies, we'll just go back and forth, bro.
Yeah.
So without getting into too much detail, I guess just like leave the boring and keep the sexy kind of answer. You're pretty good with this. We saw your content, bro. So let's jump into it, bro.
Okay, so the first one, what are the top credit hacks that everyone should know?
Get free savings accounts at every single bank.
Boom.
Always use your credit card, throw your debit card in the trash.
Yep.
And once you have a good enough history, you can now get lines of credits at each of the banks.
Okay, cool. And then you become rich. Perfect.
All right, Rafi, let's just say you're getting started. What's the only credit card you'll need?
I would say only credit card you need. I mean, my Amex Platinum is pretty kick-ass, to be honest.
We're locking in with Amex?
That's it. Yeah.
All right, let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
So Rafi, I'm actually expecting to have 3 kids in the next 3 years. How can I give my kids good credit?
I would say have them as authorized users
Yep.
on each of your credit cards.
Authorized users on each of your credit card and why?
So that will basically start building up their history. So you basically have them as authorized users. So let's say, Radies, how many kids are you gonna have? 3?
Yeah, hopefully.
So you're gonna have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
Sure.
Okay, so you get an RBC credit card, a BMO credit card, a TD credit card. Have them as authorized users on each of the credit cards.
Yep.
As you're building up your kind of history, by the time, let's say they're 2 years old or 1 year old, it doesn't matter. They just need a birth certificate.
Yep.
By the time they're 18, they would have had enough history built up more so than the average 18-year-old. So they could be 19 and technically just buy a property.
Okay, that's fire. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, Rafi, what's the world's worst credit card?
Capital One.
We're dogging on them so much this podcast.
Yeah, bro, we should like reach out to them and be like, hey, you want to sponsor our show? Okay.
That's an easy one. Easy one, yeah.
Yeah, we should have got Credit Karma or Borrow to sponsor this episode. Fuck. Okay, so Rafi, we know you love your Amex Platinum, but what is like the best credit card that you've ever seen? Maybe something that you don't even have.
What's the best credit card I've ever seen?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the best credit card that you've seen, like something that you don't already
The
have.
absolute best one on the
The
market.
craziest one, yeah.
Oh, so after the Amex Platinum, you basically have to keep using it and spending a lot of money, and then you get invited to apply for the Amex Black Card.
Okay.
Okay.
The annual fee is something like $3,000 a year or some shit. Absolutely crazy, but apparently, like, you get an assistant, you get like a concierge, they give you a massage every day or some shit. It's just like the best thing in the world. Apparently.
Wait, that's cap. You don't actually get a massage every day.
No, you don't get. I'm just joking, man.
Okay, brother.
No, but
It's that good, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What's the absolute importance on why you need to get a credit card like today if you don't already have one?
You need to get a credit card because the entire monetary system is freaking debt. If you don't build up your credit, you don't build up your credit history, you're just going to be taking the stairs your entire life. When other people are taking the elevator,
Ooh.
you need credit. You want to buy a bunch of properties. You want to be a landlord. You want to have tenants. You want to travel the world. You need a freaking credit card.
Okay.
Bro, that was fire. Okay,
So, fire.
Rafi, tell us this. When exactly should you pay your credit card bill?
So the statement will give you like a statement date, and then you have a payment date. You should basically pay it on the payment date. The smartest thing to do is just set it up on your bank account to automatically just take the money out of your checking account to your credit card at every payment date automatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sweet. And then, how do you get massive credit limit increases?
So the way it's a long kind of process, but let me just simplify it.
Sure.
Overall, man, you just have checking accounts at all of the main five banks.
Yep.
Okay. Have a good history and have at least like a credit card with each of them.
Yeah.
If you're making your payments on time, you'll eventually have like a really good score, let's say above 700,
Yeah.
and you have good banking relationships with all of them.
Okay.
Okay. Now you're in a position to really like hustle these guys and get, let's say, 40K at one bank, 40K another bank, you basically get $160,000. $160,000 basically approved at, let's say, a 5% interest rate. That's kick ass. You can now go buy property, passive income, private lending, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Fire,
nice.
fire. Now, one more question. We didn't actually write this down, but this just popped in my head. Fact or myth? Canceling a credit card hurts your credit score.
It's a fact.
100%. It hurts your credit score. It's a fact.
Yeah.
It's 100%? Okay.
Don't ever, bro. I say this all the time, like 5 times a day. Never freaking close a credit card. It literally shoots you in the foot. If you don't like the credit card and there's a fee, switch the card to like a regular credit card that doesn't have an annual fee. But don't close the credit card because you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
So let's say you get, I don't know, like an Avion credit card at RBC.
Yeah.
There's an annual fee that you don't want to pay.
Yeah.
You can just switch it. Just switch the credit card to, let's say, a cashback card.
Okay.
And then don't use it if you don't want to, but like don't ever close it.
Okay, no. I mean, I understood that part, but I meant like the part where you said you can shoot yourself in the foot. Like, what repercussions will you pay down the line for closing said account?
I had a guy who basically wasn't using his oldest credit card. His credit score was like 750. Okay.
Okay.
There was an old credit card. He wasn't using that much, and basically he called the bank. He's like, yeah, I don't really use this much. And like the dumbass call center was like, okay, let me just go ahead and close it for you. And then the guy was like, okay. His credit score dropped by like 120 points.
Whoa.
It was his oldest credit card. He had it from 18 to like, I think like 38. So basically he had like 20 years of experience on that account, which was shut down, which was closed off.
Oh shit. So kind of like okay, so hold on, time out. So you're saying like all these like the experience, so for example, it's like let's just say like you're building like a tower, right? Basically he had like one huge like beam of support, and since they closed the tower, they closed the card, they basically boom, took down that tower, and then the whole thing just fell.
Yeah, like your oldest credit account. I think he had like not too much. He had like 3 accounts. Not really a smart guy, but basically it was like it was basically like 30% of his credit profile. You know what I'm saying? And then he just cut it off, like closed, and that butchered his score. And like now we're like, oh my god, what do we do? And yeah, it was a whole thing.
Okay, so hold on, Rafi. Let's let's actually talk about this for a bit. So what's like the worst like craziest shit like you've seen? Like have you seen like a fucking 100 credit score? Like have you seen like what's some crazy shit you've seen?
Okay, the lowest credit score I've ever seen. What do you think it is?
Is 100 even possible? Like is that even a thing? Like I don't know.
Like what's the shit? Like what do you think is the shittiest credit score?
I'd say 150.
150? No, man, that kind of kills it. I had one guy, his credit score was like 319.
Ooh. And okay, so what was it that got him there? Like how did he fuck up that bad? What did he do?
He maxed it out and just never made a payment.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, time out. Rafi, you kind of touched on this earlier before, but let's just say someone's been fucking up their credit, right? Like this guy, for example, your client, right? How long did it take him to go from this fucking, what do you say, 319 you said?
Yeah.
319 to like, let's just say, I don't know, 700 or something, or even like a decent, I don't know what's decent. Honestly, I'm so bad at credit. Like what is decent? Like
Yeah, like how do you get from like 300 to like 750?
Can you do that at that point?
Bro, honestly, you want me to be real with you guys?
Yeah, be 100, be 100.
Some people like they're kind of beyond saving.
But hold on. Is that because of their credit stuff, or is that just because who they are as a person?
They're both. I don't know. But like, so let me be specific, okay?
Okay.
If for example, some guy, Capital One credit card, RBC credit card, BMO credit card, right? Basically, he maxes it out and he just never pays it. Okay. And then now he just always misses payments, always misses payments. And now he's in a position where there's a bunch of really bad
Yeah.
history. Okay. It's going to be difficult for him to go from 300 to like 700. Unless he changes like drastically, like it's going to be extremely hard. I would say, so a bankruptcy is on file for 7 years,
Okay.
right? So if you have really bad payment history, but that was 10 years ago, then sure, you can slowly climb your way back
Yeah.
up. But generally speaking, most people, like, just to talk kind of average numbers, you guys, most people, they're like 700, 650, 800,
Mm.
like you're kind of in that range.
Yeah.
You are in a position where you can fix very, very easily.
Okay.
Maybe there's one or two payments or some collection item, some freaking Rogers. It's always Rogers or Fido or
Yeah.
Kudo or some shit.
Yeah.
So like they max me out or they overcharge me and stuff. So you can get that stuff contested. You
Okay.
get that shit removed. You get a collection item removed. You go from 550 to 700. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what we're talking about 300s and shit, those are the one-off like crazy like abusers, I'd say, of the system.
Okay, now I want to also ask you this, Rafi. Like, obviously, in the life of an entrepreneur, right? Back when I used to work my 9 to 5, stable check come in, Friday party time, whatever, right? Now it's like I can have a fucking awesome month, and then I can have a shitty month, right? And I was actually talking to a different entrepreneur. I'm not gonna say his name right now, but before, and this guy's a high earner now, but like before, he was in a financial mess in the sense where he's a real estate agent. He's not closing commissions, so he's basically living on credit cards, lines of credits. And like it got to a point where debt collectors are calling him, or not debt collectors, sorry, but the banks are starting to call him, going, "Hey, you haven't made a payment 2 3 months." Could someone like that, a young entrepreneur who's like so focused on their craft that they're kind of like putting their credit card on the or their credit on the back burner for now, could someone like that eventually work out of this place and fix their credit in the future, or is this like there's like some permanent repercussions that's going to be faced for like fucking saying fuck you to my credit right now, I'll pay this when I get some money.
It depends how long he goes down this path of fuck my credit for now.
Okay, okay. We're talking like let's just say 12 to 18 months, right? So enough time for him to kickstart his business, start making some commissions, whatever. And then he comes back 12 to 18 months later, and let's just say he's not a full retard. He's probably making some payments if he has to live off the cards,
He's a
right?
half retard.
He's a half retard. He's a half retard.
Okay.
Yo, oh my god.
I hope they see this now.
Nah, yo, I say we leave that shit in, man. Fuck it. We're not no PC
Like,
bullshit here.
okay. So, Omar, be specific. He's a half retard, and how many days is he late? Like,
Let's just say like he'll have 1 month or 2 months where he doesn't pay it, and then like 1 month he'll like kind of pay it, but like his credit's always
Yo,
like,
yo, this is so specific. Who are you talking about?
yeah, he's definitely talking about like himself or like
Yeah,
somebody else.
yeah. He's a,
no.
He's like, yo, my boy's a half retard. I gotta help him out.
yeah, that's why Umar's like, that's why Umar was like, he's not a retard. I'm not a retard.
No. He's all right. He's a half retard. Okay, so some months he's paying it, some months he's not paying it. Like, how long can he go down that path where like it's like, buddy, you're fucking everything up? And actually,
So the
honestly,
longer,
it's not just
yeah.
and it's not just this guy I'm talking about. There's been times where I've done it recently too. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. And there's actually a couple of people. It's usually someone who's in the entrepreneur space who they're betting so much on the future where they're willing to take that risk, right? Because like, one solid month and like you can wipe everything from your like, depending on how deep you are. So like someone like that. Sorry, I gave so much fucking pre-story to this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, man. So like, I think the longer you go, just kind of missing payments, the worse it is for you in the long run.
Okay.
Like if are you talking about somebody who like let's just be specific. So someone has, let's say, 40 grand in credit card debt, and he's maxed out, for example, and you're saying that he's not even making his minimum payments, like he's just that screwed.
hmm
And so now he's late 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Because then after 90 days, you're going to start getting collection calls,
Yes.
and then there's going to be points where even the bank gives up and sells your debt to a collection company,
hmm
right? And then you go down that kind of path. It really depends how long you're going to let that thing kind of rot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it'll just get worse and worse and worse. So I would say to fix it sooner rather than later is probably better.
hmm
Not to say, hey, he's gonna just kind of leave it for 2 years And then, year 4, now he's making $500,000. He's making $500,000 a year. Like, sure, now you can kind of come back and slowly climb back, and eventually you're going to be back at 800 credit score.
Yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
Okay. No, that does. And then now I have another question for you, Rafi, because you kind of answered this. But let's just say like, let's just fuck it. Let's just say I'm being a retard and like I fuck everything up, right? And then like let's just say now a couple months down the line, gold rush, everything's fucking working out, making good money, and then for the next, let's just say, because you said 7 years, your bankruptcy kind of gets on your file. For 7 years consistently, I'm paying everything on time. Nothing's maxed out no more. Like it's like I'm doing all the perfect credit practices, but I still had that period of like 18 months where I was dicking around. Would 7 years later my credit be resolved, or is it still going to be a problem?
So it's a very good question, man. I've had people who've had bankruptcies and they still get lines of credit.
Okay.
Okay. I've had people get proposals, they still get line of credits just because the debt that they have was with a bank that reports just to TransUnion, not Equifax.
Oh.
So like if you really know the system, you know which banks you're going to, which banks you fucked up on. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of stay away from those. So there's that type of shit we talk about all the time too.
Yes.
But long story short, you can absolutely, like, if you fuck up, but that was way in the past, and now you're killing it. You're responsible. You're like non-retard now. You know what I'm saying? You're good. You're gonna be fine. Keep in mind, just to be very specific, banks have internal credit scores also.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Tell us about.
So, bro, if, for example, and I don't know, like in the year 2002, you fucked up your RBC credit card,
Yeah.
and it was kind of screwed up for a while, but now you're killing it, and now on your credit report, you can't see the late payment on RBC anymore, for example.
Ah.
Don't think in your mind for 1 second that RBC forgot.
They always know.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna match just to be very specific, they're gonna match your first name, last name, date of birth, SIN number, and be like, yo, back in friggin' 1997, whatever, he fucked up this credit card.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? Okay. That makes sense. Now, again, not to dread on this, Brian. That's gonna be the last question, and we'll move on to whatever we're gonna talk about next. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we'll continue on the same character profile. Said person now not only has a bank with all his accounts, but like he has a lot of money in said accounts. Would that give him a different favor now? Because like by a lot of money, let's just say like 25, 30 grand in each account. Like would that be like, okay, he might have fucked it in the past, but he has a lot of money in his checking account, so we could give him more, or it doesn't matter? Doesn't matter.
If you got an absolute shit credit score and you have like $500,000 in the checking accounts, like each of the checking accounts, and you have statements and proof.
Yeah.
Still, they're gonna go off of what the score says because it's an algorithm. It's a computer program, and you click, and then the system, even the advisor, is gonna be like, "Bro, I can't. Your score is shit."
Oh wow, crazy! All right, crazy.
Yeah.
So.
So hold on, okay, Rafi, is there anything else like? Because I feel like we covered like a lot here. We talked about hacks to travel, hacks to get a free car. What to do if you're a retard, what not to do if you're a retard, right? Like, what are is there anything else that you wanted to like mention, or any other like wisdom you have that you want to make sure that like gets across?
Yeah, I would say, man, just generally speaking, so people that are young and they're kind of confused, they don't really know what to do. Stock market's down, crypto's down, real estate's down, everything's down.
Yeah.
And rent is still $3,000 a month and shit. It's a very, very difficult time. So I would say try to be creative, try to think outside the box. Traditional financing, traditional advice is garbage. Okay, anything that your teacher tells you or your advisors are telling you, or what governments are telling you, whatever you're doing that's kind of mainstream, it's like, this is just my opinion, I'm pretty passionate about this, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to succeed if you keep doing what everyone else is doing. So I guess think creatively, use creative financing, have a side hustle, have a second income. If you're hungry and motivated, you'll get what you're seeking.
No, that's very good, man. And like, I think I like that you touched upon like the whole like what everyone's doing. Like, if you go to like your uni campus and you look at the parking lot, you're not gonna see a fucking supercar. You're not gonna see anything nice, right? Go to like your 9 to 5 job. No one there is parking with a nice car. They all have brokey cars, right? Like normal people cars, right? So it's good, man. Like, normal people get normal results. You got to do the extraordinary shit to get, the nice cars. And before we wrap things up, so we have a rapid fire round. Before we get into that, man, do you have any questions for us? Anything in general?
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess the real question is like, what's the main thing you guys are hoping to achieve, and like how can we help you to get there?
In terms of credit?
No, just overall, you guys like seeking success, like the podcast and stuff. Like, what are you guys like trying to do? And because I feel like our audiences are very much intertwined. I'm also in Toronto, also. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our students, they're like young. They're between the ages of 18 to like 30. Similar minds. They're hungry. They're motivated. They want to grow. They want to succeed. And I think knowledge is power. So like I guess how can we help you guys?
But right now we're just focused on growth, right? Like we're doing a lot of episodes. I'm sure you've seen as well. Like the guests that we have are not like your regular like fucking local realtor. Like no, it's like high level people. Like a lot of people have over 100K followers, 200K followers, and they're like people who really achieve high level things. So that's basically our plan. Like being literally the number one virtual podcast. And I think we're definitely gonna get there, like without a doubt. So yeah, who
Yes,
wants to add to
and
that?
yeah, just to add to that, like Rafi, I don't know if you were asking in what the way Radies answering, or if you're asking more of the mission. But if I was to tell you the mission statement for the podcast, if your listeners are listening, listening, the whole point of the Seeking Success podcast is just like me and Radies. Again, we're not that old yet, but like we started this off very early, like right out of high school, where we realized we wanted to go into the entrepreneurship world, and it was a wild west. There was one YouTuber saying this, one YouTuber saying that. This course is a scam. This course is good. It was a wild west. So what we're trying to do is create a platform for free to educate you for free from leaders in the industry for free. So that's the whole point of the Seeking Success podcast is the same way we got education. We wanted to make it a one-stop shop where like one day we're interviewing the credit expert, so now they could take a piece from the credit. One day we're interviewing a successful athlete. Okay, they could take a page out of his book. One day we have a singer. One day we have an artist. One day we have a comedian. And we're just giving you chapters in the life of success because everything relates. A lot of success principles you have, you'd be surprised, align with the local comedian because the success principles are the same. So the mission for the Seeking Success podcast is to put education back and make it fun and make it interesting and show different faces and show that, yes, even though this guy's credit and this guy's an artist, look how similar the concept of success was. So that's, again, the mission statement for the podcast. We're trying to put the education back in the system, make it a one-stop shop, make it super easy for someone to take this information, apply it to life. That's why a lot of the questions we asked, I really dumbed it down and made a character profile so a listener could really go like, maybe I'm in this stage too. And,
Maybe I am retarded.
Crazy.
Oh man, I love it, man. I love it.
Okay, cool.
And then before we jump into the rapid fire round, I want to ask you this, Rafi. So obviously you're big on credit. What other assets are you big on?
I would say, real estate is another one. Entrepreneurship, man. I love talking to other entrepreneurs. Like, there's people in this world that are hungry. Others not so much. And you end up kind of if you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, you're hungry, you're motivated.
Yeah.
You want to help each other grow and stuff. So I think it's a huge part of evolving, and I think we should entrepreneurs who are like-minded, they should talk to each other.
Right on.
With the rapid fire round. So basically what you have to do is the first thing that comes to your mind, you have to answer with one word, okay? So it's very simple. We're just going to go right into it. So we're going to start off with the first word. Umar, go take it away.
All right. The first word is success.
Growth.
Failure.
Lesson.
Ooh, okay.
Marketing.
Sales.
Yo, every time Umar. Okay, sales.
Marketing.
That's been happening every time so far.
All right. Real estate.
Passive income.
Ooh, okay. Credit score.
800.
I like it.
Credit cards.
American Express.
Ooh, credit union.
Meridian.
All right. Debt.
Good debt.
Okay. Motivation.
Motivation. Dreams.
Okay. Networking.
Connection.
All right. You ready? So me ask this one. You can ask the book one at the end.
Yeah.
All right. The most motivating person of all time, and just the first name that pops in your head.
The most motivating person?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Robbins.
Ooh, okay. That's an OG right there.
Okay.
Okay,
That is
so
an
for this
OG.
one, you can use multiple words if you'd like. So if your whole life up until now was written into a book, what would the title of the book be called?
Think outside the box.
Ooh, think of Oh, that's
Ooh,
actually a
that was
very clever
fast too,
title.
bro. Wow. You
Yeah.
thinking about it already, Rafi? Is there a book coming up, bro?
It's in the works, man. It's in the works.
Oh,
Let's
okay, okay. You heard it here first, I guess.
Yeah, man, absolutely. There's a lot of, I guess, lessons, life lessons and stuff. Like it's formulating.
Mm.
awesome. Awesome. All
Okay,
right. Well,
awesome.
Rafi, we want to extremely thank you for coming on the podcast, bro. You shared lots of valuable wisdom. We didn't really get to dive too deep into your come up story. Maybe we'll have a second episode where we can go more into the success principles. But just genuinely, man, from the bottom of my heart, you answered a lot of questions I had personally, and hopefully you answered something that the listener could take away as well. And yeah, thank you so much,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
We're
Thanks
gonna
so
link all
much.
your social links below. But is there a specific plug you wanted to make? You can make that now.
Yeah, I mean Instagram, rafficredit.ca, TikTok, rafficredit. Nice and
Sweet.
simple.
Okay.
Right on. All right, and that wraps us up, guys. Make sure you stay seeking success and check out StockPick. First link in the description. Until next time, peace.
Take it easy, guys.